Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's Mary Jane. Please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'd be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, my peeps, my peoples. Thanks. So, anyways, let's get into it. Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 1, Episode 5. Let's get down into it. So, we got Deb meeting up with Bow Wow's father at this cafe or whatever, and Bow Wow does look like his father. They do look alike, but you can also tell that Bow Wow's father has been suffering through alcoholism and alcohol abuse. You can just tell by the way he walks, his reaction to the conversation. You could kind of tell that his body's kind of deteriorating. But anyways, moving forward. So Bow Wow's father, his name is Alfonso. He meets up with Deb, and Deb is like, they're having a conversation. Bow Wow's father, Alfonso, says he hasn't seen Bow Wow in 4 years, or he's been clean in 4 years. It just really wasn't clear to me. And then Deb tells Alfonso that she had a conversation with Bow. He was upset, he was mad, and all this other stuff. And then Alfonso's like, I'm mad too, I'm upset as well. And he's also like, maybe Bow Wow could have went to a meeting with me. Maybe he could have showed some support to help me with my alcoholism or whatever. Then that's when Deb stops him right in his tracks and says, hey, listen, you're going to have to take ownership for your behavior, for your relationship with the bottle for over these many years, and how you chose the bottle over your son. And you're the father. You are supposed to mend that relationship. You are the grown up in a relationship. You are the one that's supposed to make sure everything is good between you and your son. And so, you have to take ownership for your behavior. So whatever Bow Wow says to you, you need to take it. You need to own up to it and say, yes, sir, yes, sir, So, because you need to mend your relationship and you have to own up to a lot of things. So, Alfonso also let us know that he hasn't seen his father in 7 years, and his father's been in and out of his life as well. And they're finally starting to talk again and starting to have a relationship. So, you can see how the generational curses, passed down. It was from Alfonso's father to Alfonso to Bow Wow, and hopefully Bow Wow can break this generational curse by meeting up with his father. And also the main event is to make sure he's in his daughter's life, Shy's life forever, and he's there. So you can see the torment that Bow Wow has in being in a serious relationship, and him not really taking joy that serious as well. So it could be because of what he saw as a young man, a young child growing up. So anyways, Deb is gonna sit on that and see what she can do. She tells Alfonso that she's gonna try to see if they can have a meeting, but he has to be willing and able and open to whatever Bow Wow says to him. And she kind of thinks that it might be a bad idea because Bow Wow was really angry. It can go down. So anyways, we get Bow Wow. He's talking to his daughter Shy and Joy or whatever. So Bow Wow's having writer's block. He's not in the studio, and he's sitting on his couch watching TV while Jermaine and the brothers at the studio waiting on him or whatever. So he's getting his daughter and Joy to come down to Atlanta from Cali, whatever, because he misses his daughter and all that good stuff. So it is what it is. And so Bow Wow finally gets to the studio. The brat's there. She's fresh to death. So funkified. So anyway, she's there. She's letting Bow Wow know, like, you can't be having dudes waiting around for you for 2 hours. What's going on? Bow Wow's like, where's JD at? Did he leave? He go on vacation? And he took a flight out of here? She was like, no, he just left the studio because you was taking too damn long. And so then the brat is calling Bow out saying, oh, what's your excuse? You got writer's block, She's all like, oh, and you're always late. And the brat is like, oh, writer block my ass. You're 2 hours late. Do you even care? Do you care about your career? Do you care about the music? JD is soon going to pull a plug on this situation. So Bow Wow comes up with all types of excuses, writer block and all that, and the brat is just like, yo, this is too many excuses. Do you want to do this or not? Like, come on, let's be real, son. So anyways, the brat is trying to talk to Bow Wow, trying to give him some of that knowledge, trying to let him know, like, hey, You can't be doing this to people that are here believing in you. This is the whole reason why you're here in Atlanta, is to get your album out or whatever. So it is what it is. So Bow Wow, he calls Ayana and asks Ayana if she's going to Nay's birthday party, whatever. And so then, Ayana's like, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'll go, whatever. And so, he's also, Bow Wow's like, he wants to have a pre-birthday dinner for Nay, and he wants to invite Brandon or whatever. And Nay's like, Ayana's like, I don't think that's a good idea, because the last time they was together, it was lit. They were really combative towards each other. So it is what it is. And Bow is like, it's not a big deal. Don't let Brandon know. I'm not going to let, Regine know or whatever. So, and Bow thinks this is a good idea. Bow should be worried about his music, his daughter, and possibly building a relationship with his father. Well, I touched on Bow Wow's relationship with his father in my last video. So, life is too short, Bow Wow. So your father could be dead and gone anytime. And, it is what it is. So, Ayana was like, okay, well, let's see if, it can happen. They can squash that beef. And, there was like, oh, Brandon brought, Wayne into the situation. So Bow Wow wants to squash this beef between them. And so Ayana's like, well, since, Regine's turning 18, maybe she'll have a grown woman shit on or whatever. Not true, not gonna happen. Not when they have minions and yes sirs around like her father does. So it's not gonna happen. Anyways, Regine doesn't want Brandon coming to a party when she's talking to her mother and at their house. Regine's trying to find out, put on a birthday outfit. Her mother, Toya's up there dance or whatever. They doing what they do, whatever. So, but Ayana's also saying that, Ayana and Regine and Brandon really hate each other. So she don't think it's a good idea for Brandon to show up to be there at all. Because she knows her cousin and she knows what went down. So she don't think it's a good idea. But okay, Bow, it's going to blow up in your face. So anyways, we get to Deb. Deb goes to the studio to meet up with Bow Wow to possibly tell him that, she met up with his father, Alfonso. But Bow Wow's not there. The brat's there. And then, Deb is like, Brat, where's Bow? And so the brat's like, oh no, he left. I had to throw him up out of here because he ain't focused. He ain't focused, man. And so Deb is like looking around. She was like, well, great. And so the brat is like, so what's good or whatever. The Deb says, well, I really wanted to talk to Bow Wow about his father. I kind of want to get them to connect or whatever. And the brat was like, I don't think that's a good idea because Bow Wow has a scatterbrain. And calling somebody a scatterbrain is really an insult. Scatterbrain. So anyways, the terms that they use, scatterbrain, in the medical field is terrible. So anyways, and so the brat is like, he got a scatterbrain. He's not even focused on his music. He's coming up with all types of excuses, and him speaking to his father might be totally off. It's probably a mismatch idea. It's probably not a good idea. The brat also says that, speaking with his father or whatever could possibly throw him off even further than he's already off on focusing on the music and paying attention to the music or whatever, because Bow Wow has a lot of distractions as it is. So, the brat goes, so what was Bow Wow's reaction? And so Deb goes, he was a little upset. He was more than upset. Deb, he told you to stay out of it. But I understand your reasons, which I explained in the last video. So the brat was like, I don't know if it's a good idea. Him meeting with his father is probably going to make him more upset and disappoint him. Like, his father, Alfonso, has disappointed Bow Wow his whole life. And so the brat was like to Deb, why do you care so much? Why are you all up in their business? And so, we all know why Deb cares so much, because she didn't have her fathers and people passed away in her family, blase and a third. So anyways, Deb is just like, well, because generational curses, and plus, Bow Wow has his daughter now, and, to break that curse so he can be a better father, and he can, probably, meet with his father and mend fences, mend wounds, or close that chapter or whatever. So that's where Deb stands at, that she thinks that this is a good idea for Bow Wow to get there. So anyways, the brat is like, I don't think this is a good time or anything, because he has so many distractions, there's so much going on already now. then Deb goes, well, I'm gonna marinate on that. And so the brat goes, well, I'm gonna saute on that. And they started laughing or whatever. And so then the brat goes, you want to go get something to eat or whatever? You want to go eat? And so then and so, and so so Deb goes, yeah, let's go eat it, whatever. And then Brad goes, well, I'm gonna blow some of that smoke in your face. And so Deb goes, oh, I remember last time you tricked me with that. And then Brad was like, nah, I was telling you it was chocolate, and you said, nah, bitch, this is weed. And they start laughing and they're joking and they're leaving. So Bow Wow meets up with his daughter Shy and Joy. Joy's kind of like not too happy that she's going to Bow Wow's mother's house to stay. She was hoping that Bow Wow would pay for a room or a hotel or whatever. So Bow Wow was like, why would I pay for a hotel room with all these rooms up in this house? It is a big ass house. So anyways, I guess, Joy wants her privacy. So Bow Wow has all this stuff laid out for his daughter, whatever. So they go upstairs, they're talking. Bow Wow tells Joy that he hasn't been in the studio. He only been in the studio once or whatever. And Joy's like, what's the holdup? What's the problem? She was like, you have so many good ideas, so many things that you want to do, but you never stay focused. You never complete your goals. She was like, you never put your actions, you always says words, but you never put action behind your words. So with Joy saying that to Bow Wow, it's almost like, he's kind of following in his father's footsteps, but in a different type of way. Like, he got money, he's not an alcoholic or a drug addict. He is in his daughter's life, but there's certain things in his life that are probably complicated and probably not focused on the right way, because he's still having, pains and issues about his father, even though he's in denial. But he cannot even know that, the reason why he doesn't do this, the reason why he doesn't do that, because, his father could have lied to him growing up, most likely, and promise all these things and not come through. And that could be where Bow Wow could be picking up that type of behavior from his father. So anyways, it could be whatever. So anyways, and so she was just like, so it's just like Joy was like, and so it is what it is. Joy's not trying to hear it. Joy's like, you say all these motherfucking good things, but you don't put your feet to the fire. You don't focus and you don't go through with it. And Bow Wow was like, word, son, it is what it is. So anyways, Brandon meets up with Deb or whatever. He meets up with his mom. He tells her he wants to have his own showcase and he wants to step out of her footstep. He wants to be his own man or whatever. And so, Deb is like, so Brandon said he wants, Johnny Blaze and Blase and the Third, all these other people. I have no idea who they are. And so, not because I'm saying that nobody, just because I don't know. I just know who Johnny Blaze is because she was on Love and Hip Hop and she used to date Drake or whatever. So anyways, Deb is like, ain't you missing somebody off that list? And like Zanique, and Brandon was like, no, I'm not missing anybody off my list. Zanique fired me. Why would I have her at my showcase? And I'm here to develop, not people that think they're already developed. And she fired me. And he was like, so you know what? I want to show everybody who I am, where I come from, where I stand up, and how I develop, how I make artists, how I can change history, I can change music. And he was like, and so he was like, I want to do this all by myself, Mom. I want to do this all by myself, Deb. And then he goes, Deb, well, I want you to be on the panel. And then Deb goes, yeah, he want to do this all by himself. But yeah, guess who's on the panel? Me. So anyways, so Deb is like, so how long is it going to take you to put this together? And he was like, well, 8 days. She was like, oh my God. And she's like, you know what? 8 days is really just like around the corner. You know what I'm saying? She was like, well, failing is not an option because if you fail, I look bad. And we know Deb is not trying to look bad at all. Right now, she's Ayana on this show. She's trying to fix people's lives and fix her son's life as well, making sure that he become a multinational developer of artists or whatever. So anyways, Bow Wow goes to dinner with Joy at his house. He set up dinner, salad, and some other stuff. And Joy, she's all dressed up, looking fresh to death, looking very pretty, whatever. And so Bao is telling her that, he wants to, he had his best time in his career was with her, and he wants to give it another shot. He wants to know if they can get back together and make it work because, she has his daughter, and he feels comfortable with her, and he wants to be with her or whatever. And so she goes, no, I'm not feeling that because, you make irrational decisions. You make decisions like off of a whim. So now you got scatterbrain making irrational, making decisions off a whim, and then on top of that, you forget what you say. Bow Wow, you want to be in a relationship this week, and next week you don't want to be in a relationship. It's like, oh, fuck it or whatever. So Bow Wow feels like, oh, you're gonna diss me to my face. He was like, so you know what, fuck it, we're never gonna be together. Then forget it, it's over. She knows how I am. You only get one chance, and Bow Wow, you gotta change that. Sometimes people deserve 1, 2, or 3 chances. So if you're so quick to give up on that and not fight for Joy, did you really want her in the first place? Or is this a behavior that you learned from your father, from him not being around or not putting in the effort and being in a relationship, and also apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, let me work towards it? So are you picking up some of your father's behaviors without even knowing it? So it is what it is. So Joy's like, we ain't going down this road again. You ain't gonna make me look stupid no more. You ain't gonna be posting females on Instagram shaking it, dropping it, and twerking, and I'm at home with the baby or whatever. But Bow Wow does tell Joy that he really appreciates her being a good mother and staying by the kid or whatever. So it is what it is. So Brandon, he's rehearsing with, the people that's supposed to be at the presentation. He's tough on them. He ain't no joke. So it's not like he has a personal vengeance towards Zynique, but he keeps bringing Zynique up like, Zynique don't really want it. Well, these artists really do want it. And then Brandon is all like, okay, lady, step up. And she was like, and he was like, that's a 10? If that's a 10, then give me 50, because was that your all? Was that your best? And it was like, don't you supposed to introduce us? And Brandon was like, who are you? Why am I supposed to introduce you? And it was like, oh. And he was like, come on, step it up. You don't think nothing was wrong with it? So Brandon is really tough. And you have to be like that way because you have millions of people competing for the same thing that you want. So anyways, then another girl, she gets up and she's rapping. I don't have no idea what she was saying. Brandon was like, when she's done rapping, he was like, stop. He was like, do you really, are you comfortable with that song? Do you really want to perform that song? Do you really, whatever? And she's like, nah, not really. So he was like, well, that's a problem. We got to work on it. For him to pick that up is real cool. It shows that he knows how to develop artists or whatever. So we'll see what happens. And so anyways, Brandon's telling them they're not going to get on stage and embarrass him and make him look bad. And he gives them a whole speech and they clap. And it is what it is. He feels more comfortable with them as well because they don't have a silver spoon in their mouth. And and when they're hungry to be a star, they're hungry for success. You know what I mean? Because when you're hungry, you want to eat, right? So they want to eat. So anyways, Bow Wow's at the dinner or whatever with, for Bow Wow's at the getting ready to throw Regine, a pre-birthday dinner or whatever, and all this other stuff. So he's at the table. Ayana's there. Ayana's not there, but it's Zynique, it's Regine, and it's Shanice, and it's Bow Wow. And basically Bow Wow's asking about the photo shoot, how was it, and all this other stuff. Zynique says, oh, the photo shoot or whatever. And so then, Regine is like, well, don't remind me of Brandon. And again, you know what I mean? She doesn't really want to talk about it. So then you got Ayana. She's with Brandon. They're about to be on their way to the birthday dinner. Neither one of them know, Brandon nor Regine know they're going to meet each other up at this party, whatever, birthday dinner. And so Brandon was like, so remind me why I'm doing this again. And Ayana goes, because we're going to move forward and move on the right foot and put the past behind us. And Brandon goes, does Regine know I'm coming to her birthday dinner? And then Ayana lies and says yes. And so what Brandon could tell that she's lying. She was like, Brandon said, if some shit pops off, you're going to be right in the middle of it. And shit does pop off and she's right in the middle of it. So anyways, and Regine, she's talking to Bow Wow about the photo shoot, and she was like, you know what he said? He said he worked with some people that could have helped my father's career. First of all, I never heard of him, and then number two, I never heard of this cat. What has Cat been? What has Cat been before? Whatever. And so then Ayana is saying to Brandon that I hope this does not blow up, because if it blows up, it's all on Bow Wow or whatever. And so, Ayana's like, this is going to go. She's already knowing in her head it's going down. And I believe everybody knows it's going down except for Bow Wow. And so Brandon goes, well, I'm going to be on my best behavior. And hopefully she has the best attitude as well, because it is her birthday. And Regine goes, and then Regine was like, Brandon don't have no respect for nobody, or he doesn't have respect for me. And she was like, yo, I don't want to see him again. That's how I feel. Now Bow Wow was sitting at the table like, oh, this is a bad idea, because she said he don't have no respect for me, he don't respect for nobody, and I don't want to see him again. And so, Shanice is like, wow. So Shanice, there's a scene with Shanice and Ayana looking for clothes or whatever, for designs that, Ayana wants to show to her father so she can get that check. And she doesn't really want her father's opinion. But, Shanice is like, I love my father's opinion, whatever, and I don't want to be in my father's shot. I want to do things my own. Shanice is really a mature and developed, very nice young woman, and she has her head on straight, and she ain't for the drama or the bullshit either. So anyways, Brandon shows up to the birthday dinner. Oh no, he's coming to my birthday dinner. He's not coming unless he apologizes. So she was like, he better apologize. So off the rip, she doesn't Regine doesn't feel like she did anything wrong. She don't feel like she said anything improper. She doesn't feel like she did anything wrong at all, because number one, her mother didn't tell her she did anything wrong. They just threw the blame on Brandon and they left it as that. Her mom did not correct her. But we also understand why Toya is like best friends with Regine, because Toya didn't have her mother around because her mother was on drugs. So you got generational curses, falling around all over this shit. So Toya didn't learn how to be a mother from her mother, so she was just doing this off of a whim or whatever, and she was a young mother. But that makes no excuse when you got money, when you can get help and get counseling. So whatever, miss me with that shit. But you understand why they're like best friends. They even look alike. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's no type of discipline for Regine. Even when Regine, called Tiny up and was like, oh, my mother don't care about nobody but herself, and there was no type of consequences for that as well. And there was no type of consequences for her behavior with Brandon telling her that she shouldn't speak to adult males like that. She shouldn't yell at males because things can go left, and you're not always going to have a bodyguard or a protection around. You're not always going to have your minions around to protect you. And we've seen that recently when Regine and her friend was at a college, and people kind of like jumped her or whatever. So security's not always going to be around. Not saying that incident was Regine's fault at all, but she has to be aware that he's in the limelight. People are going to say things. It is what it is. So anyways, Brandon asked Nate if she wanted to give him a hug, and Nate says no. She don't know. She says no. I don't know what am I supposed to do? So like she's nervous because it seems like she doesn't even really have hate for him, or she's upset with him at all, but she's making it something that is really not. So Brandon was like, okay, so you don't want to give me a hug? We'll talk about that later. And Brandon was like, that's okay. I came to eat. And so anyways, Nate said, you're not getting a hug until I hear them words sorry. That's what she says in her confessional. And Nate, are you planning Nate asks, Brandon, are you planning on coming to my party? And then Brandon goes, so do you think I should come to your party? And Nate goes, it depends on something. Depends on if I get that apology, if you apologize. And Brandon goes, apologize for what, Nate? And then for the things that you said. And so Brandon was like, what you mean apologize? And Brandon goes, we both said some things that we both misinterpreted and took the wrong way. So Brandon at this point clearly is not going to apologize to Regine. And Regine knows that. So now she was like, this motherfucker ain't going to apologize to me. Well, it's on. And so Brandon's like, so we both acted in the wrong way, so there's no reason for us to apologize. And so you meant to say what you said, that's what Regine says to Brandon. So you meant to say what you said, that you worked with people that could have helped my father's career or whatever. And so Brandon goes, no, I said I am Brandon Bonds and I am a developer, and I said I could help your father's career. And then Bob was like, oh no, he brought up, Wayne again and whatever. And so Regine is like, oh, so you meant to say that. And then so Regine goes, so you meant to say that. And Brandon, I'm not even going to say your last name. I never heard of you. And I don't want to hear your last name again. You don't even got to repeat that. And so then Brandon starts laughing. And so So then Regine goes, the thing about you, I never heard of you, Brandon. Whatever your last name is, don't say it again. Brandon laughs, and Regine goes, why? You're not even laughing. And nay, you are not. Regine goes, you're not even laughing, Brandon. You're not even laughing at all. And then Regine goes, this is my dinner. You came here. You didn't come here with an open mind at all. And that's the thing. You know what I mean? So Regine is like, you should apologize to me and all this other stuff. And it is what it is. Brandon's not going to apologize to her at all. And so Regine goes, well, I can't do him. I can't do him by himself, but I can do him now because I'm 18 and I'm going to handle it. I'm going to have you handle it. I'm going to handle it. And Brandon goes, what do you mean you're going to handle it? How handle it now? Brandon goes, I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and we don't take threats lightly, especially somebody threatening us that's sitting down while you're sitting down. And so, Regine goes like, you should apologize because you got into an argument with a child. And Regine goes, you also should apologize because you stooped down to my level. So at least Regine, even though she didn't know it, but she said that you stooped down to my level. So Regine knows that she was egging on a situation and she was provoking Brandon. So that's why she goes, you should apologize for stooping down to my level. And you know what? No, he shouldn't apologize for stooping down to your level, because in real life, when you reach a level and you're disrespectful to somebody, they're not going to apologize to you. They're going to stoop down to your level unless they want to walk away. So it is what it is. You get what you put out. Respect is earned and not just given, baby. So it is what it is. Brandon's not 100% right, and Regine is not 100% right. If he would apologize to her, she would have still been more disrespectful. She would have been acting like she was the queen, and he bowed down to her like everybody else bowed down to, like Lil Wayne, and bowed down to her because she's his daughter or whatever, and there's money floating, and they're paying people to bow down to him. They got yes men. You see Lil Wayne on a skateboard. He didn't even do no tricks in the first episode. Everybody's like, yay, Wayne. Minions, that's it. Minions, you pay for your minions. You pay. So anyways, it is what it is. And so Regine is like, you can't come to my party like a little child. You know what? And I'm gonna have my I'm gonna call my mother, and and all this other stuff, and you can't come to my party. And she was like, you never even worked with Rihanna, you never developed with Rihanna, you never helped Rihanna, you never did none of that stuff or whatever. So then Brandon's like, that's fine, bitch. I don't mean to call her a bitch, but Brandon is like, that's fine then, that's good, I'll chill. Bow was like, chill. So then Regine, she's upset. She was leaving the room. She was like, I don't know who he think he is, this cat Brandon. He got me all messed up. He better stop filming. I'm done. She's calling her mom and her cousins because she's trying to get downstairs to see them in the bottom of the hotel area. And whatever. And so she was like, I'm gonna have my cousin beat him down. She runs up in the room. She goes, I want you to beat him down now. Beat that dude Brandon down. He's so disrespectful. He keeps disrespecting me and all this other stuff. So she's upset. Tori runs out. She got the hoodie on, the black pants, the sneakers on, the corn braids. Her cousins, they run out. There's two of them with dreads, and one of them got his pants legs up. So what's up with the pants legs up? Isn't that from the 90s or the early 2000s? Then LL used to do that. DMX used to do that. So I can't take the cousins seriously with one pants leg up. So it is what it is. So anyways, so they're in the elevator trying to get upstairs to Brandon and whatever. Regine's looking all over for him. Bow Wow's trying to get Brandon out the situation. But then, Regine and her cousins, they catch up to Brandon. And Toya's trying to say, why you keep disrespecting my child? And so Regine was like, oh, my cousins are going to F you up, say something. No, my mama's here, my cousin's here. And so security is trying to bring back Regine's cousins. Regine say, don't touch my cousins, leave them alone, don't touch them, leave them alone. And then so anyways, Brandon is like, Bow Wow, get out my way. You can't really do nothing. You're too tiny. You're too little. Just move out the way. Boom, move out the way. So Toya was like, I'm not going to keep letting you disrespect my child. What is the problem? And so, Regine is just sitting there, and she's just happy to see this. It's so sad because you already know that Toya lost two of her brothers, and right now we're talking about violence. And Regine is ready to get these guys to go fight Brandon. You know, it's just a sad situation because it could be handled differently if Toya would have sat down with Brandon and with, you know, Deb. But when Deb tried to talk to Toya, Toya was like, miss me with that shit, basically. So anyways, it is what it is. And Brandon was like, I got my 4 feet cousin of nothing standing in front of me, blocking me. He was like, I'm about to take my coat off because it's getting hot in here. And Brandon was like, Brandon's like, whatever, it's all good. He ain't scared, and it is what it is. So I'm so upset that they making us wait till next episode. Peace. I'm out. Anyways, thank you for your time, people.